In this fan base, there's two kinds of people: people that love Justin Fields and are wishing for him for the best, or people that absolutely despise his time in Chicago and don't really care about what he does in Pittsburgh. And listen, while he's still not our quarterback, it's, you know, as a Justin Fields fan at heart, I still want him to be successful. And his stint with Pittsburgh right now, currently, it's only been 5 games, but I feel like there's a lot to talk about regarding Justin Fields' performance and the highs and the lows, especially after this Sunday night football game against the Dallas Cowboys. What is up, guys? Welcome back to Soulback Sports, and I'm still back with another video. And today I just wanted to go over, Justin Fields as a whole and what I kind of wanted to like kind of talk about when it comes to him as a quarterback. And before we get into this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really means a lot to the channel. And it really helps me create content like this for you guys. So please subscribe. Anyways, Justin Fields at this point has become, a name that Bears fans at this point are probably sick of, mainly because of the civil war that we had back in March on the way to draft day, or actually even earlier than that, right? When it was the Denver Broncos versus the Chicago Bears game. I was at the height or the start of the conversation of Caleb Williams versus Justin Fields. And then eventually Justin Fields got traded for a sixth round pick or a conditional fourth if he plays 51% of the snaps. And listen, there are a lot of people that will say that, Justin Fields shouldn't have been traded. And at this point, like if you're still saying that in 2024, 5 weeks into the NFL season, at this point, you're kind of far gone because, you know, you have to see in front of what's in front of your eyes right now. And the eye test says a lot. And listen, as a Fields fan, as a person that advocated for him before he got traded, I'm seeing the light of why Ryan Poles decided to part ways with him. And I saw the light during last year, but didn't want to convince myself that that was the reality that I was living in. Because Justin Fields really got me into the sport, and especially during the times when we were tanking for the first overall pick. He made the games actually fun. Like there are teams that would have quarterbacks that are complete garbage or just journeyman cornerbacks that essentially just played games just to eventually, you know, garner some experience or even win a contract. And then eventually that would take them, the team, to be the number one, number two, and number three overall pick. But in this case, Justin Fields was able to, make a situation where we had hope that he was our quarterback. And then eventually it turned out that Justin Fields, was a victim of the system that is the Chicago Bears development, QB development program. And listen, while he was a part of a team that tore down the entire roster before building a new one after shipping him out. Yes, there are a bunch of reasons why this whole situation did not fare well for Justin Fields. But you have to also look into the fact of, we have Caleb Williams now. And right now, he looks really good. He's improving every single week. And with even with the rough start, Caleb Williams has already have 300-yard games this season. Let me say that again. 300-yard games this season. And listen, not to knock Justin Fields because he only had one, and that was against the Denver Broncos in a loss, right? I think Justin Fields has a lot of promise. But at the same time, this is going to be harsh reality that I faced with and come to terms with. He is literally the same player that we had last year to this year. I have to say that because he is. Like, there's no other way to put it. Yes, you can. And the thing is, he's benefiting off of the scheme that is Arthur Smith. And I feel like a lot of people have to realize that Mike Tomlin and Arthur Smith aren't playing to Justin Fields' natural strengths. And I know that may seem a little bit, contrary to popular belief because you see that he has a 300-yard game already. He's had multiple good performances or decent performances this season. But you have to also take things with a grain of salt because the scheme that they're utilizing with Justin Fields isn't necessarily utilizing his athleticism to the fullest extent and even his arm talent to the full extent because he's playing mistake free football because he's playing relatively conservative football with a tinge of athleticism. And you can kind of see that across the tape because coaches like Mike Tomlin just want to meet the status quo and get to 8 to 9 games. They want to win at any cost. And I know for a fact that they want to make a playoff push. They want to have a team and have potentially a quarterback they just gave a sixth round pick, conditional fourth, to be their franchise quarterback. I'm not saying that that's out of the realm of possibility. But my thing is, Steelers fans are kind of jumping the gun right now and saying that the Bears fans are at a loss right now. I don't think we are because there's a lot of things that Justin Fields has similar to what he did in Chicago, to what he did is doing with Pittsburgh. And let me explain. Let me first preface this by saying that I understand, you know, like the Steelers are a flawed organization right now in terms of their offense, but you have to look at Justin Fields within a vacuum of what he's doing, like footwork wise, processing wise, etc. But I'll get to those points. Let's start with footwork because the footwork that he had to learn under Luke Getsy was trying to emulate what Aaron Rodgers did when Getsy was their quarterbacks coach. And then as soon as he became the coach or the offensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears for the 2022 season, like he tried to make Fields Rodgers essentially. Fields and Rodgers both have decent athleticism, especially even Rodgers during the 4 times he won the MVP. But I think Fields at that point in his time had to rely heavily on the athleticism because of A, the offensive line, and B, the scheming and the wide receiver help that he had in Chicago. And that led him to eventually gain a lot of bad habits, a lot of bad footwork. His footwork, as you could notice, probably slowed down over the course of his year. Like his dropbacks are not like how Caleb's is or how Jaden Daniels is or any of the young quarterbacks that are out there. It's very like unorganized, if that makes sense. And listen, I am not anywhere near to be like a quarterback expert, but this is what I'm getting from watching film and watching tape and people breaking down Justin Fields. And it makes sense because with bad footwork, it can lead to more bad habits when it comes to, getting out of the pocket, making safe plays, and your timing, your cadence, everything matters with good footwork. And that's the thing, especially along with his like arm, his throwing mechanics and everything. Processing, sorry, I'll get to processing later, but in general, his ability to utilize his feet when it comes to, extending plays and is really good. Don't get me wrong, but the footwork isn't there, and even the arm talent when it comes to he was known for that in Ohio State, but his it just something's off with it, and we've seen that in Chicago, and like his deep ball isn't necessarily the same. He's making he's like taking a lot long wind up when it comes to his mechanics and we just really hope that Arthur Smith could eventually fix that for him when it comes to this new iteration of the Steelers team. And yes, the talent isn't necessarily there, but with the talent, quarterbacks can definitely elevate their wide receivers, the tight ends, and etc. Justin Fields has done that a little bit. I'll give him credit where credit is due because in the first 3 games, he was able to get the most out of George Pickens, whether it was both scheme and his athleticism, and Van Jefferson, who is their wide receiver too. Like, that you have so much you can really do with the wide receivers that you have at the helm. Fryermuth is also an option at tight end, and the running backs as well. But I just think that his processing, which leads me to my next point, his processing has been kind of off. And I think that's really been an issue when he was with Chicago because in Chicago, he, especially this past year, the main thing was he's holding on the ball too much. He's taking too long to read and he's taking sacks. And the one, like, I think still framed to this day that's stuck in my head when it comes to him holding onto the ball too long is that freeze frame where he had a wide receiver wide open to his right and he didn't hit him. Looking straight dead into the eye. He was open. It was a free touchdown. Did not throw it to him at all. Did not take the thing, like take the shot down the field and ran in to take a sack. Like, listen, said this a lot. Like, I've supported Justin. I thought that he could be the guy, but clearly the upper level management and Ryan Poles saw that this isn't winning football, right? But listen, decision making is a part of the game, and I think Justin Fields has yet to, you know, get to that level of the NFL decision making and processing that we expected him to be when it comes to being a franchise quarterback. And I really wish him the best because he has so much talent. He came out of college. He could have been literally, if not like the second or third overall pick, if it weren't for Zach Wilson and Trey Lance moving up so high after their draft days or their what was it called, their QB days or whatever. But, Justin Fields fell to the 11th pick. Chicago Bears traded up. The Chicago Bears weren't ready to get a young quarterback to develop. And eventually it led to the Civil War. And eventually going into his fourth year, debating on whether to pick up his fifth year option. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing for the Steelers to deal with now. And listen, do I think that Justin Fields is going to be good? There is a shot. I think there is a chance. There is definitely hope there because you're seeing a resurgence like Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, or even Geno Smith going into situations where they were drafted and they were not good whatsoever, and then they end up going to a situation with a good offensive coordinator, a great team, a great culture, and thriving. Getting that opportunity, that second opportunity is tough. And Justin Fields is able to, go into a great situation that he really wanted and pushed Poles to, meet his needs. And Poles granted it. Poles took a sixth round pick, conditional fourth, to send him where Justin Fields wanted to go, for just thanking him for being the quarterback, being at the helm for 2 years under the Poles regime. And listen, he can be good. I'm not saying that this is over for him. I'm just giving my thoughts and telling Steelers fans, if you're watching, like, this is what you're going to deal with right now because you're coming off of a season and right now he became the starter because Russell Wilson was hurt. And yes, you can say that he's probably better than Russell Wilson right now. But if you're expecting like something crazy, like, him to be like Mahomes or something, that's not the case. And it will take time. You got to be patient. And, you know, he just has to develop. And the only way he can do that is by either sitting behind someone and learning how to read defenses, or just, figuring it out on the go, which right now it hasn't necessarily worked. To the untrained eye, you know, you can see Justin Fields' stats and be like, oh, he did pretty well. But that Cowboys game, literally, there was no excuse. You literally had very injured defensive line, a very injured D line, and everything. And the Cowboys were just battered in general. And yet the team still lost. Granted, it was, a team effort. It wasn't necessarily all on Justin, but there were plays that Justin should have made, or even like dimes that he should have made. And like there was so many opportunities for teams to intercept Justin, but it just isn't on the stat sheet because it was dropped. But listen, at the end of the day, I don't want to come off and seem as like a Justin Fields hater. Listen, I'm still a fan. I still have his poster up right here. I still have a Funko Pop of him right now. I'm not completely out on Justin. I think I just love to see him thrive somewhere. But if you're just, I'm just seeing a lot of people talk about like hype him up like this, or like right now, Steelers fans are like, this is not the Justin Fields I signed up for. Well, as a Bears fan, as a fan that's watched tons of film, tons of analysis on him, this is the reality. So let me know down in the comments below what you guys think. I obviously understand that, Justin Fields is a lot of fans in Chicago, and, I really wish him nothing but the best. And yeah, I mean, he has a lot to prove me wrong. I mean, we'll see what happens when he comes to him being the starter next week, because apparently Mike Tomlin doesn't want to say that because Russell Wilson is trying to get back from injury. But let me know down in the comments below what you think about Justin Fields. Is he truly a starter for Chicago for the Pittsburgh Steelers, or is Russell Wilson going to end up taking this job? Let me know in the comments below. Always remember to like and subscribe. Podcast episodes are coming out every Tuesdays and Thursdays, so stay tuned for that. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.